Hello friends, welcome to learning sessions, and today in this video we are going to discuss about the different chapters related to the module C of retail banking and wealth management. And if you are preparing for JAIIB 2024, you must be watching this video till end. And further, let me tell you that on sign up on our website, which is available free of cost, you will be getting access to all the free PDFs of all the free papers of JAIIB. So do enroll right now, do sign up over there right now and start preparing for the same. So let's start the session over here, and it's related to the delivery models. Now, when we're talking about the delivery models, is actually related to that how we are offering or catering the services to our customers over there. Like I told you that if we talk about the service delivery, if we are talking about the service delivery over here, we are having the in the physical channel, how the different human factors are actually intervening, we are to basically talk about the same. So if we look at the branch level, we are having the bench, we have the branch staff, we are having the dedicated marketing managers over there. And further, if we are looking beyond the branch, we are having the direct selling associates or direct selling agents over there, right? So let's understand the same. So if you look at the staff at the branch level, what are the different characteristics must be there? Because they actually do play a very important role, because they can be providing the personalized services and can be building the strong relationships with the customer over there. So they can be easily be understanding the customer. They can do the easy cross selling, and further they can do the post sales follow up, like taking the feedback from the customers, and further can be providing extra service to the customers over there. And also customer empathy related to understanding the customer needs, and particularly they can understand the product features and services better, and further based upon the customer's feedback they can be actually prescribing the particular product or service to the customer over there. And if we talk about the dedicated marketing managers over there, these are the specialized professionals. These are the specialized professionals which are assigned to the specific branches over there, and main fund is related to that they are to promote the various banking products and services over there. They do conduct the marketing campaigns, marketing surveys, and further engage with the potential customers. Potential customers means high net worth customers or high value customers over there, which can bring business to the bank over there. And what is the expectation from the same? That they will be doing the market intelligence. Market intelligence is related to that this is my market and I want to analyze it intelligently. So I need to basically have the insights about the market. I must be analyzing the data. I must be monitoring the trends. I must be understanding the competitors. That's all thing basically related to market intelligence. And for the potential sourcing, now in this particular market, I know about the market. Now I must be knowing the potential customers over here, that who are the potential customers to whom we can be connecting with, and the ticket size can be much larger in that particular scenario, so that we can be extending and further can be expanding the customer base. And third one, it's related to product and service delivery presentation. Now they need to create a compelling presentation that this is our product and this is how come you will be benefited from the same, and these are the benefits to you. So based on the different customer segments, they can be showcasing the benefits of the products and services being offered, and they can be selling the right product to the right customers over there. They can be doing the sales conversions over there. They can be complying with the service delivery standards over there, and they can also be managing the customer relationships over there, right? That's related to dedicated managers, dedicated marketing managers, that is DMM, right? And further, the other one, it's related to DSAs, that is a direct selling agents. Now, if we talk about the DSAs, these are not the direct employees of the customers, but they have been authorized so as to promote the products and services on behalf of the bank over there, and they're primarily engaged into selling the particular credit cards and the retail loans over there. So that's the main purpose related to the DSAs over there. So DSAs, they actually, it can be agency, it can be an individual too. So they will be deploying the field personnel or the telecallers. They will be connecting with the persons over there, looking for their needs, and further will be following the marketing process over there, and they will be having the follow up with the customers, and they will be converting the leads into the successful sales over there, right? So lead is basically related to the marketing work, and once the lead is there, so as to convert into conversion or successful sale over there, that is the work that lies with the DSAs over there, right? And further, it could be related to that the bank is having the tie-up with the institutions or OEMs or particularly the dealers over there, where we are having the direct tie-up. That particularly, let's say I'm having tie-up with the car company over there. So whenever a particular person who is visiting for purchasing a car, now definitely if a person is visiting for purchasing a car, he is having the money with the person, him. Now in that scenario, we can easily be chasing the person, and further can be converting the person into a particular sale, right? So tie up with the auto dealers, it can be tie up with the builders over there, it can be tied with the institution for education loans, and for also for the personal loans over there, right? So this could be tie up with the institutions, right? And further, it's related to CLM, that is a co-lending model. Now co-lending model is related to that the lead will be generated by the NBFC, and further it will be co-lent by the NBFC with the bank over there. So let's say, so banks will be lending up to 80% part, can be lending up to 80% part, and NBFC will be lending up to 20% part of this particular loan. And further, this will be maintained as a separate loan account between the NBFC and the particular bank over there. But there will be only one disbursement. Disbursement will be done by one particular NBFC over there, but it will be co-lending system where funds will be attained from the bank over there. So it is a case related to it. Okay, so Reserve Bank of India guidelines does allow the same. So the main primary objective is related to what? So is to improve the flow of credit to the unserved and undeserved sector. So if there is unserved sector where the particular sector economy, the credit is not available, or particularly the undeserved sector over there, we basically want to have a smooth flow of the credit over there, right? So we can make available funds to ultimately to the beneficiaries over there at an affordable cost over there, considering the lower cost from the banks. So banks will be having the funds from the lower cost, and banks will be having the funds at lower cost, and further NBFC will be having good customer approach over there. Now in that scenario, both can be doing the co-lending model, can be indulged in the co-lending model over there. So banks are actually permitted so as to co-lend to all the registered NBFCs, including housing finance companies, based on a prior agreement. So there will be a prior agreement between the bank and the NBFC, and based upon that they can be co-lending, right? And further, they must be having the board approved policies. Both the NBFC and both the banks must be having the particular board approved policy before entering into CLM, and the approved policies must be placed on their websites too, right? Now if we talk about the eligible counterparties, eligible asset classes, all the loans which are basically qualifying for the priority sector, they are basically qualifying for the same. And also if we look for the bank's contribution, can be maximum up to 80%. Exposure of the banks can be maximum up to 80%. Let's say case loan of rupees 10 lakh is to be disbursed. In that scenario, bank's exposure can be maximum up to 8 lakh rupees, and NBFC exposure should be minimum of 20%. It should be minimum of 20%. And further, if you look for the originator cap or selection criteria, so NBFC with a proven track record, they will be basically be doing what? They will be channelizing the loan, and for the proposal will be sent to bank, and for the bank after going through the proposal will be noting yes or no. And if there is yes, in that scenario, the percentage of the proportion of the that will be contributed by bank, that all the things will be fixed, and ultimately that particular loan amount will be given to the bank, and the particular loan amount will be covered by the bank, and whatsoever the recovery will be there, it will be in some third party account where the proportionately amount will be particularly distributed between the bank and the NBFC, right? So that's the case related to it. And if we talk about the yield, pricing of the underlying loan portion of the bank's contribution to be in line with the applicable regulatory guidelines on interest rate on advances. It's not the case that bank can be charging heftily, because banks are to follow the directions on interest rate on advances over there, right? And after that, in this particular chapter of CRM, we are going to cover about the customer relationship management. Now, customer relationship management is basically a strategic approach. Strategic approach means what? That let's say case we are having customers with us, but now we want to look for their patterns. We want to look for the income pattern. We want to look for the transaction pattern. We want to look for their needs into their credit history or their particular transaction history. Based upon that, we'll be offering the product to them. So that it means what? That the customer information or customer insights, customer information we are talking about, or customer insights we are talking about, those are available at the different levels, and those are integrated so that we can be touching the customer at the different levels over there, so as to ultimately establishing and maintaining the good relationships with the customers over there, right? So it basically involves using the technology and further the data, so that we get the insights from that particular data over there, and it basically increases or increases the efficiency and effectiveness of providing customer to the services to the customers over there, and customer retention is increased, loyalty is increased, because we can be offering tailored and personalized product to the customer, and we can be having a better communication with the customer. So we can be having a 360-degree view of the customer. We can be knowing each and everything about the customer over there. We can be integrating the data. Integrating the data means we can be using the data at the various levels. We can be using the data in online banking. We can be using the data in mobile banking, in providing the in-branch services over there, and also the data can be gathered from the different points also. That we are not getting the data only from one point, but we are getting the data from the multiple sources, like from mobile banking, internet banking, and whole the data is actually integrated into one particular portal over there, right? And other than that, personalization can be offered, because you already now know about the customer, so you can be offering the personalized product, tailored product recommendations, or customized product to the customers over there. And further, you can be having the different customer segmentation related to different preferences of the customers, related to different categories of the customers, related to different types of the customer, and further these categories can be offered personalized product accordingly, right? And further interaction tracking over there, like how the customer is actually interacting with the system, how customer is particularly flowing through the application, so you can be knowing that in what type of particular services the customer may be interested into, right? After that, it's related to the objectives of CRM, that what are the different objectives of CRM. First of all, we can be acquiring the new customers, because let's say case if you are basically getting data from the different portals over there, from call centers, from online website port visits over there or something like that, so you can be basically getting data from so many places, and further you can be converting them into the new customers. And also when you're having the insights, you are basically giving them the personalized product, and further giving them good services over there, you can retain the existing customers too. And further, moreover, customer relationships can be expanded because you are giving them a very amicable response and further very good product response over there. And further, you can also be encouraging for purchasing more things from the customers over there, and further shifting the less profitable customer to lower cost delivery channels. Like let's say case there is a customer, and further the customer is not that much profitable. Now if the customer is not profitable, I can be shifting the customer to the lower cost delivery channel, because I am to offer the service to the customer, but I will be shifting the customer to the lower cost delivery channel, so that it will be more profitable to the bank anyway, right? And further, it's related to why it's need of CRM, because we want to increase the efficiency, we want to derive more value from the employees over there. We basically want to deal with the competition, because there is a huge competition which is available in the retail banking too. We want to deal with it. We want to deal with the rising scale of NPS over there. We want to increase the importance of fee based income. We want to basically increase the efficiency of delivery channels, and further we must be knowing that if the present delivery channels are particularly sufficient enough or not, right? And further, so as to retain the customers, so as to provide more value to the customers over there, right? So that's the main funda related to it. And how does CRM work? CRM is basically related to getting the data from all the places related to the customers, and further we can be using those insights so as for decision making, and further so as to showcase and the personalized product over there. And further it's related to that you'll be getting the personal information, or their purchase history, or their transaction history, or their buying preferences, and the other concerns over there. And based upon that, you'll be offering the different things to them. So if this information is available beforehand, we can be dealing with the customer in a very good manner, right? Now, what are the security concerns? Because the data is available, and it may also be the case that the private data may be available, and so that that particular data must be that must be secured, and you must be having the infrastructure and the policies related to the same, because the protection must be available at the different layers of the data structure over there, of the database over there, so that we can protect ourselves from the cyber crimes. We can be identifying the theft, and further if there is breach, we can be finding out the same. And then it's related to CRM software. Now CRM software is actually not a simple software, it's a specialized software which will be integrated into the present business, that how we are going to manage the business, and further how we are going to optimize the business over there. So it is kind of a centralized program. Like I told you that we are getting the data from the different input subsets over there, and further we are going to get that information to the different managers at the different levels over there. So this is the benefit of the same. So it's a particular software and particular specialized software, right? Now let's understand the features of the CRM software. Now the marketing automation is there. Marketing automation is actually related to that you can be streamlining the different processes into one thing. Like we are getting the data from the different resources. We want to streamline it so that the data is not wasted, or the data is not at fault, or particularly we can be using the data. And further we can be going for marketing automation. We can be going for sales for automation, where the lead is generated. Now after that lead generated, how the data is being dealt with, and further we can be tracking the same, we can be monitoring the same, we can be giving the sale forecast. So that's the benefit. And for the contact center automation, that particularly we can be it can be including the different preloaded audios, or preloaded customer problems resolving areas, or FAQs related to the same. So that particular information can be disseminated, and further we can be providing the support to the customer too. And for the geolocation technology or location based services, now this particular related to CRM feature, that it can create geographic marketing strategies or market campaigns over there. Like in Punjab, different type of campaign may be there. In Rajasthan, different type of campaign can be there. So it's actually related to it. Based upon the physical location of the customers, we can be automating the process, right? We can be actually be changing the process accordingly, right? And after that, it's related to implementation process. Now, what do you mean by implementation process of CRM over there? First of all, it's related to business processes. We must be knowing the existing processes. We must be knowing the existing business processes so as to understand the nature of products and services. So whatsoever the different type of products and services we are having, we must be understanding the nature of the products and services. According to that, we must be understanding the business processes. We must be knowing the information processes, that how the data is being flowing. Information is related to data, that what is the data structure and how it is basically moving, and what are the different sources of data over there, what is the quality of data over there, and how crucial it is so as to integrate the data into CRM over there. And it's quite basically important and very much crucial for a successful CRM application, right? And further, it's related to information system. Information system is basically so as to check the compatibility related to that older version with the CRM integration, that how we are going to integrate the older version of our existing infrastructure with the CRM version over there. And for the internal organization means we want to basically align the CRM system with the bank's internal organizational culture, over there, right? That's actually related to the internal organizational, right? So there are implementation process. We are having 4 parts: business processes, which actually we learn about the business, all the processes, procedures, etc., and information processes where we do know about the data sources, data integration, data quality, etc., and information system, that how we can be integrating the older system with the newer one, and internal organizational, that is basically ensuring the CRM system aligns with the bank's internal organization culture and the objectives over there, right? Now, implementation stages in CRM we look for. First of all, it's related to identification of the customers. So we basically, this segment basically want to what? We basically want to target the customer, that so that we can be using the CRM effectively. We want to identify the new customer. Let's say case you are having data, huge data for related to customer insights over there. Now, how you'll be looking at the factor that this is a new customers over there. So we need to basically identify the customers accordingly, right? And further, we will be focusing on this particular segment for that particular class. And after that, we have identified the customers. We will be classifying the customers based on the different patterns, based on various parameters like profitability, like product age rate over there, or related to cost to serve the customers over there. We'll be classifying the customers. And if we are having a very low profitable customer, and further we must be shifting it to low cost delivery channel, right? It may be one of the advantage of using the CRM. And also we must be interacting with the most valued customers. Like if a customer is very much valuable to me, we can be having a personalized communication with the person. We can be offering them some specific exclusive benefit to them over there. We can be addressing them needs promptly over there. That's how we're going to interact. And further, customization of banks products and services for different segments, like we can be giving them tailored products and personalized behavior to them, right? So these are particularly the implementation stages in CRM. That's first of all related to identification of customers, then further classification of customers, then interacting with the high valued customers, and further customization of the bank's products and services for those customers, right? And what are the benefits? As I told you, customer satisfaction is increased, customer retention is increased, our operational efficiency is increased, we can cross sell the products better way, we can be increase the sales, we can be actually be dealing with the competition in the retail banking over there, customer service is improved, we can help in getting manage the different delivery channels with us, and further better customer relationships can be maintained by using the CRM over there. So basically this is just a basic idea you must be getting rather than cramming all the parts, right? And for the training employees in CRM, now many banks do have implemented training programs so that they can train the employees so as to learn, so as to recognize, so as to effectively create strong customer brand relationships. Now if the software is there but you don't know how to use it, that's of no use. Okay, so must be providing the required training, and for that particular purpose you must be having required training programs in the system over there, right? So that's the case related to it. Now after that, it's related to the services standards for retail banking. It's related to the new chapter, that is service standards for the retail banking. So over here we will be talking about BCSBI. Now BCSBI is Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. So RBI actually established and constituted CPP-APS. Now what is CPP-APS? It is Committee on Procedures and Performance Audit of Public Services. And it was set up in 2003 under the chairmanship of SS Tarapur, who was former Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, so that whatsoever the issues related to the adequacy of banking services for the common people, those could be addressed, right? So that was the main purpose. That is why CPPAPS was particularly constituted by Reserve Bank of India in 2003 under the chairmanship of S.S. Tarapur, who was Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India. And further in 2006, BCSBI was established. So CPPAPS was there in 2003, and in 2006 we were having the BCSBI. Right? So it's basically related to collaborative efforts of the banks and the Reserve Bank of India. So BCSBI is actually what? BCSBI is a voluntary code related to the minimum standards of the banking services or banking practices which must be followed. So let's say there is an organization, it's a watchdog. It's a watchdog which will be looking after if their members are following the things or not. And further, for that particular purpose, all the banks must be the members of the same. And after the membership has been attained, in that scenario, it will be issuing the minimum standard guidelines which are to be followed by the member banks over there. And further, it will be looking after that if they are following or not, right? And for that, it's in a good concern. If a bank is following the BCSBI voluntary code over there, in that scenario, it is basically looked at that the bank is following the minimum standard guidelines over there. Okay. So as per the annual report of the Reserve Bank of India as on 25th of August 2020, RBI actually decided so as to dissolve the BCSBI, that is a Banking Codes and Standard Board of India, is to be dissolved. And on September 28, 2021, the member banks passed the resolutions related to the dissolution of the BCSBI, that the BCSBI is to be dissolved. Okay, so this particular resolution was passed and particularly effective from this particular date, right? Now, what were the main aims and objectives of the basically forming of BCSBI? Now, BCSBI was formed in 2006. What was the main objective? Related to, we wanted to plan, we wanted to evolve, we wanted to prepare so as to promote, so as to publish. First of all, it's related to plan that what minimum services must be there, and after that, it's related to evolve that what better we can provide, and for that particular purpose we must be preparing a charter and we will be developing the different minimum standards, and after that we will be promoting those standards so that common people must also be knowing about the same, that these particular minimum services must be catered to them, and we will be publishing the same to the members so that they can be following, right? So the customers are provided with the fair treatment, right? So that was the main purpose, that was the main objective. And further, BCSBI was there so as to act as an independent and autonomous watchdog, that it is not under anything. And further, it's a voluntary code. Banks are to be voluntarily member of the same, and they are voluntarily adopting these codes in true spirit. In true spirit means in writing and on particular in spirit over there, so that they can in spirit be following the codes which have been established by the particular BCSBI, and such minimum services must be promised to their customer. Okay, so agreement was there. Let's say BCSB is there and particular some bank joins as a member over there, so there will be an agreement between this particular bank and BCSB that the bank will be following the code minimum standards over there, right? And further, BCSB will be training the employees that these are the minimum services that you have to offer and how you have to cater with your customers over there or something. And further, also the minimum standards will be advertised and will be promoted through the newspaper or through radios or through magazines or through other hoardings over there, which will actually be having impact on the society that these are your rights, these are the minimum standards which the banks must be following, right? And further, for that particular case, the boot camps be there for this particular purpose, the training and workshops can be there, conferences and seminars can be there, lectures can be there. So these were the different things so that the aforesaid particular the voluntary codes can be implemented, right? Further, it's related to code of banks commitment. So the code of banks commitment is actually divided into two parts. First of all, it's related to code of banks commitment to the customers, and the other one it's related to code of banks commitment to the MSC, that is a micro small enterprises, right? First of all, we're going to talk about the code of banks commitment to the customers over there. Now, code of banks commitment is actually related to the code of customers, right? What are the customers, right? Related to minimum standards over there, related to minimum standards over there of the banking practices that the member banks must be following when they are dealing with the individual customer. So when the bank is actually dealing with the individual customer, how they are to deal with the individual customers, what are the minimum practices that they need to follow, and what are the customer rights related to it. It basically protects the customers. It basically protects the customers related to the minimum services being offered, and further day-to-day operations, whatsoever the things are being dealt with, it is basically dealing with the same. And the codes of banks commitment to the customers, actually this was released by Dr. Y.V. Reddy. It was released by Dr. Y.V. Reddy, who was Governor of Reserve Bank of India, in an inaugural function in 2006 over there. So this code of banks commitment was actually inaugurated by Dr. Y.V. Reddy in 2006. This was given in year 2006 by YV Reddy, who was governor of Reserve Bank of India, right? And what were the objectives of this particular code? So that fair practices, minimum standard codes must be followed. There must be increased transparency in the system over there, and market forces must be encouraged through the competition, so that each and every bank will be trying so as to cater the best things to their customers over there, so that there is a safe and fair customer dealing in each and every stage when they are basically dealing in a particular environment or a digital environment. And the customers must also be aware about their rights, about their protection, right? So that was the main objective of this particular code related to Code of Banks Commitment to Customer. So first of all, we read about the BCSPA, and the second one we read about the Code of Banks Commitment to the Customers over there, which was actually inaugurated by the Dr. YV Reddy in 2006. Further, let's have understood the category and the services included. So in deposit accounts, the current accounts, term deposit, recurring deposit, and all the other types of deposit accounts are included. If we talk about the payment services, either we talk about the RTGS, NEFT, EFT, all are covered over there, right? And even demand draft, wire transfers are covered. If we talk about the government transactions, banking services which are related to government transactions, those are also covered. If we're talking about the investment services, whether the demat services, equity, government bonds, those are also covered. If we talk about the currency exchange, Indian currency notes exchange facility, this code is applicable to that particular thing also. Transaction and custody services, like particularly safe custody and particularly collection of checks, this is applicable to same. And credit services, all the loans, it is applicable to all the loans and other credit facilities. If we talk about the foreign exchange services, it is also basically covering the all, and further also including the money changing. And if you talk about the insurance and investment product, third party insurance products, if the bank is working as an agency also, or particularly bank is working as joint venture also, that covers those particular products are also covered. And also it covers the card products like ATMs, debit card, credit card related services, all are covered. And also it covers the digital products. Like e-wallets, okay, internet banking, UPI, BHIM, all are covered in the same. Okay, now there are some key commitments of member banks to the customers. What are these commitments? First of all, right to fair treatment. That this is your right, that you will be getting a fair treatment, you will be getting an equivalent treatment, and there will be no discrimination in between the same. And there are some ethical principles which are to be followed, right? There will be integrity, and there will be empathy, there will be honesty by the employees, right? There will be promptness in services. So these all things will be followed by banks in spirit, right? And further, whensoever the banks is even offering a particular digital product, or let's say digital banking or payment systems, that will be available in a secured manner. And further, there will be a robust technological system for the same, and there will be no discrimination, as I told you, right? And the banks will be promoting these fair codes also. Okay, and the second one is related to right to transparency, that whatsoever the things will be done, those will be transparent. Let's say case you visited the bank and they said that there is minimum average balance charges which are basically there, so you must be known about those charges beforehand, not related to that particular point when you were charged for the same. And even if a loan is sanctioned, it's not the case that they can be charging anything. The terms and condition must be there, and key fact statement must be given to you, so that you can be understanding each and everything in well, that what is the interest rate, what is the processing fee, what is the documentation charges, what are the other kind of charges, any kind of the hidden charges, what's the type of the charges, those must be clear to you. That's basically related to transparency. And further, if the interest rate is charged to you, you must be having the transparency related to it, that what rate of interest is being charged, and those all the things must be displayed in the website and also be displayed in the branches over there. There must be some pamphlets, or there can be some hoardings, you can be getting some manuals related to the same. And also when I'm talking about the credit products, the same key fact statement must be given to you beforehand, before you basically execute the particular documents over there, right? And after that, it's related to the bank must be ensuring so as to train the staff, so as to provide relevant information, The third one is related to the right to privacy. Right to privacy, that let's say case I opened my account and further my brother visited the branch, right? It should not be allowed that he can be knowing anything about my account over there, right? Even if my spouse visits the branch, the person should not be allowed, if the person is not having a joint account with me or either survivor account with me, they should not be having any of the information related to, and that information must be private and must be confidential. Further, it's related to right to grievance and redressal system over there, and the compensation. So let's say case the customer is having an issue, so where the customer will be reporting, all the information related to the grievance redressal must be available in the branch level over there, must be available on their website over there, so that the customers can be having a look on the same, and if they are facing some issue, they can actually be letting the bank know about it. And further, there must also be a suggestion box or a complaint box in the bank branch over there. And further, also related to nodal complaint officer, related to the nodal complaint officer or particularly principal nodal officer, and for the name of the official of the branch, your ZO, your particular ZM, RM or principal node officer. This all information must be indicated. And also again with that, the information related to the banking ombudsman, under whose jurisdiction the branch is falling, that information must also be available. So related to branch manager, related to your RO, RM, ZM, and further related to the banking ombudsman, all the information must be available so that all the complaints related to customers can be handled promptly, and further those must be handled properly, right? And further there is a criteria related to if you have basically conveyed your problem in writing, and further in 30 days the problem is not resolved and is not escalated, in that scenario customer is having the right that they can go to the banking ombudsman also, right? Further, after that, it's related to code of bank's commitment to MSC, that is micro and small enterprises. So even the bank is dealing with the micro small enterprises, there must be fair treatment with the same, right? So the code was brought out by BCSBI in 2008. So it basically came in 2008. So related to individual customer, it came in 2006, and related to this was basically brought out by BCSBI in 2008 over there. So it basically provides protection to MSC, and further basically lets us know, explains that how the banks are expected to deal with the micro small enterprises related to day-to-day operations and the time of financial difficulty, right? So what are the objectives of the code? First of all, there must be fair and fair treatment and good treatment. There must be increased transparency over there, and so as to encourage the market forces, and so as to there be a cordial relationship between the MSME and the bank members over there, and so as to foster the confidence in the banking system, right? So these were the main objectives related to this particular code. That's the code related to code of bank's commitment to MSC, right? Further, what are the different categories and services included? Whether we are talking about the deposit accounts, we are talking about the payment services, government transactions, investment services, currency exchange, transaction custody services, credit facilities, foreign exchange services, like we have basically covered in the case of individual customers also. Those all the things are covered. Other than also the factoring services are also covered. Merchant services are also covered. Factoring services, like particularly a factor is there who's basically assigning the book debt of the MSC to them and further is actually giving the liquidity to them. Those services are also coming under the purview of the same. And also the merchant services, where the merchant services basically help in universal banking or underwriting or something. Okay, so all the transactions have been covered in this particular part for MSC also, right? Now, after that, it's related to code compliance rating. No, code compliance rating is actually a methodology which was adopted by the BCSBI, right? So BCSBI would be related to what, that a rank would be given. A rank would be given. Let's say for particular case, the score will be given. For some particular scenarios, the different score will be given, and there are different group of parameters for the same, and based upon that, the different parameters are having the different weightage associated with them. And for the out of 100, there will be actually a number score that total that the branch will be having, and accordingly your branch will be having the particular scoring, particular rating, right? Like let's say case related to information dissemination, it is 20, scoring is 20. Related to transparency, it is 22. For customer centricity is 30. For grievance redressal, it is 15. For customer feedback, it is 13. Now the total score is 100. Let's say case that bank A is having the BCSBI total score equal to 67. In that scenario, the score 67 is lying between 60 to 70. The rating is average. If one particular, let's say bank is having the rating 87, score 87, that means the rating is high. So higher is good. High is the number, higher is good over there. And so it's particularly related to what? So BCSBI actually established a methodology which is basically so as for rating the member banks. So as to rate the member banks over there. So if a bank A is having the rating high and a bank B is having the rating average, which bank is better? Definitely bank A is having a high rating, so it's better, right? Further, it's related to the customer grievances handling mechanism. So first of all, it's related to customer grievances handling mechanism. There must be proper complaint registration. So when a customer is having some grievance, the complaint must be registered. And further, customers must be customers must be informed about that the various channels through which they can be submitting their complaints. It's not the case. First of all, we must be trying to resolve their issues, and further, if they want to basically file a complaint, we must be letting them know the different channels through which they can be filing a complaint, in person in a branch, or through telephone, or through mail, or even through website, right? So the different things are available, different channels are available. And further, designated complaint points. Designated complaint point is actually related to what? that banks provide information to the customers that where they can be filing the complaint, specifying the location or the channel such as physical branches or something. Now these are the designated complaint points where they can be filing the complaints over there. So it's their right. And for the appropriate complaint receipts, now what does it indicate? It related to wheresoever they are going, to whom the complaint is to be filed, right? So customers must be getting some relevant department or personnel who is actually responsible for handling those grievances over there. So they can be taking a follow-up with the concerned person over there, right? So appropriate complaint recipients must be there. And escalation of the unresolved complaints. Let's say case if a grievance is there, if a complaint is there, that must be escalated so that it can be resolved. So bank must be displaying the name and confirmation and particular details of the grievance officer of each particular branch over there, and particularly the customers are encouraged so as to approach this particular officer if they're having the grievance that remains unresolved. Let's say there was a grievance, complaint was not particularly filed to the branch over there, and particularly it is not resolved. So now the customer can be contacting with this particular grievance officer, who can be helping them out, right? And further it's lead to final response commitment. Now final response commitment is basically, I told you, there is a total number of 30 days which are given after the day of filing the complaint. And further, if the complaint is not resolved in this particular period, customer is not satisfied about the same, in that scenario what will happen? They can actually be reaching out the banking ombudsman who is appointed by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Now for the general information, it's related to that with the adoption of the code of banks commitment to the customers by the banks, by the member banks over there. We talked about that was launched in 2006 over there. So code of IBA is also applicable. On them. That's related to bankers fair practices code for the credit card operations, and model code for collection of dues and repossession of the securities. These are the different codes which are also available, and this is related to the general information that must be available with the customers also. Okay. Further after that, it's related to CEPD. Now CEPD is Consumer Education and Protection Department. It is Consumer Education and Protection Department, that is CEPD. Now Consumer Education and Protection Department was set up in 2006 as CSD, as the Customer Service Department. It was established in 2006 over there. And what is the main funda related to CEPD? It's related to, it frames the policy guidelines for consumer protection, that how we can be protecting the customers. Consumer protection guidelines are particularly framed by CEPD, and also it oversees the operations of the 22 offices of the RBI Ombudsman. So whatsoever the RBI Ombudsman offices, it basically oversees the operations related to same. Let's say there are different ombudsmen, so the particular jurisdiction of the same particular functions are overseen by CEPD. Those are looked by CEPD over there, right? And further also it looks after the 30 consumer education and protection cells. So all the 22 ombudsman offices and 30 CEPCs both are looked after in total by CEPD, right? And what are the major functions of CEPD? That it will be administrating the banking ombudsman scheme, and further it will also be acting as a nodal department for erstwhile BCSBI. So it's a nodal department of BCSBI, and it is acting as what? It's acting as administrating particular department of the banking ombudsman scheme. Not department, but it is totally administering the banking ombudsman scheme over there, right? Now let's learn about the very important integrated ombudsman scheme 2021. Now, what was the main objective? That previously, there were three different schemes. Now, RBI actually integrated all the three schemes into one, and whatsoever the deficiencies in service were available at the part of the regulated entities, those must be resolved, and further those must be cost effective, and further those complaints must be resolved in satisfactory manner, right? That was the main objective related to the scheme, that whatsoever the complaints are there, those must be resolved, and further the process must be cost effective. It's not the case that one is taking 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees first to file a complaint. Okay, and also it must be speedier. The process must be speedier, and there must be total satisfaction of the customer for the same. Okay, so that was the main objective. So in the integrated ombudsman scheme 2021, it's consolidating three existing schemes. One, it was related to banking ombudsman scheme 2006. Other one is related to banking ombudsman scheme for the NBFC, and third one is related to ombudsman scheme for digital transaction. So all the three schemes were consolidated, and a comprehensive single scheme was formed out of three in 2021. Let's understand the different features. Now, previously what happened, that a complainant was to identify. No longer it's necessary for a complainant to identify under the scheme. Now the complaint should be filed with the ombudsman over there. Okay, to identify. Now particularly you need not to identify the jurisdiction, you can simply be filing the complaint over there. And further, previously many of the complaints were unattended, due to the fact the complaints were rejected simply on the ground not covered under the grounds listed in the scheme. But now there is a new particular scheme defining a one particular thing that's related to deficiency in services, that basically covers the deficiency in services, and further your complaints can now be attended under that particular follow, right? And further, there is a one centralized receipt and processing center, receipt and processing center which has been set up by the Reserve Bank of India, Chandigarh, for receipt and initial processing of the physical and email complaints in any language. That's quite important. So centralized receipt and processing center has been established by Reserve Bank of India, Chandigarh, where you can be processing and submitting initial your complaints in writing or by mail in any of the languages, right? And for the responsibility of representing the regulated entity and furnishing the information in respect of the complaints filed by the customers against the entity would be that principal nodal officer in the rank of the general manager over there. What does it indicate? It indicates if the regulated entity, that is let's say bank or NBFC, it is to be represented, it would be a person of the rank of general manager who will be representing the same, person of the rank of GM who will be representing the same, or particularly it will be the principal nodal officer. And regulated entity will not be having the right to appeal. In what cases? Let's take the case the ombudsman asked so as to submit some information, but the regulated entity was failed to do so. And further, if the regulated entity is now failed to do so, in that scenario, regulated entity and the award has been passed by the ombudsman. Now in that scenario, the regulated entity cannot be appealing for the same. No appeal would be allowed in that scenario. No appeal will be allowed in that scenario. Okay. And also the executive director in charge of consumer education and protection department, that is of CEPD, the executive of director of the CEPD of RBI would be the appellate authority under the scheme. That will be the appellate authority under the scheme. So CEPD by the RBI, that will be the executive director of the same, would be the appellate authority for the same. Okay. Now let's have a look at the category and the entities covered. If we look for the commercial banks, all the commercial banks, public sector banks, local area banks, regional rural banks, and cooperative banks, non-scheduled primary cooperative banks, those are covered. NBFC, if we are talking about all the non-banking financial companies, housing, excluding the housing finance companies, those are not covered. Housing finance companies are not covered. That are actually authorized so as to accept the deposit or have a customer interface with having a total asset size of 100 crore and above. So that's quite important. Not the HFCs, but all the other NBFCs which have been accepting the deposits and particularly which have having the asset size of 100 crore or above. Those are basically covered under the same. And if we're talking about the system participants, like particularly we are talking about the different digital payment systems which are basically under the particular NPCI, or particularly the different PPS like the wallets or something, those are all covered under the particular scheme over there. And if we talk about the CICs, like we are having the CIBIL, we are having the TransUnion, we have Experian, those are also covered under the same. Okay. And it's mandatory for the CICs so as to take a registration certificate from the Reserve Bank of India, right? So that was all about this particular chapter. And after that, it's related to the new chapter that's related to MKIS, that is Marketing Information System. In this video, we are going to learn about the Marketing Information System. Now, what is actually Marketing Information System? What is marketing? Marketing is actually related to preparing a product, preparing the idea, preparing the product, and for the developer product, and for the test into the market, and for the rolling out the product, and for the selling the product to the appropriate customers. That is actually the marketing over there. And Marketing Information System is basically that is with the system which is providing you the information related to data, related to all the things to you at one single place, and further that will be helping you out so as to make the support decision basis upon the same, and further you can enhancing the marketing strategies of your own, and further that will be providing you the accurate and timely information related to the same so that you can make the changes to the same, and further you can maintain the rhythm so as in the marketing process over there, right? So that's the main purpose of the Marketing Information System. Now let's have a look at the functions of MKS. So first of all, every information system is having the thing related to collecting the data and assembling the data. So we are to collect the data, we need to assemble the data. That is the first thing, that information is to be collected from numerous sources. Those can be the internal sources, those can be the external sources. Internal sources like your accounting concerns, at what pricing you are selling, what is your cost, what is your profit or something like that. So all the particular internal data, and also external sources related to market, related to the market trends and all the things over there. Now when you have collected the data, now you will be processing the data. So it is CAP, that is cap. Now first of all it was related to collecting and assembling the data. Now it's related to processing the data. Now whatsoever the information that you have gathered from the different sources, that information is to be classified, that is to be categorized, that is to be tabulated, that is to be summarized, so that this particular information can be working for you. You can be doing the critical analysis of the same, you can be getting the insights from the same. That's a main funda related to it, and that's a fourth step that's related to cap A, that is analyzing the data over there. Okay, so that particularly related to analyzing the data. Now analyzing is best basically when you have processed the data. Now you'll basically running the commands on that particular data so that you can check the accuracy, so as to check the reliability of that particular data, and further information processing is to be done so that you can get the statistical data out of the same. That's the analysis of data. And further you'll be storing that particular data, right? Now storing is related to that you will be collecting the data, you have processed the data, now you will be storing that particular data over there. You will be preserving the data over there so that the data is readily available whensoever you are requiring the same. And further after that it's related to particularly dissemination of the information, because now you have stored the data. You now basically whensoever that information is required, that information will be available to that particular person so that they can be using it for the decision making purposes. So that is cap as D. So that's actually related to particularly collecting and assembling the data, processing the data, and data analytics over there, and storing the data over there, and dissemination of information, right? So you need to memorize CAPASD, that's related to cap as D. That's the functions of MKIS. Now let's understand the objectives of MKS. Now first objective is related to that you want to collect the data, you want to integrate the data. Integration means the data integration from the different sources to be integrated at one place over there. That's the integration of the data. And second one is related to timely and accurate information. Now when you're processing the data, you want the information to be timely, you don't want the stale information, so that that particular information can be used for decision making purposes, right? That's a timely and accurate information must be there. And customer behavior insights. Now when you are having the proper data with you, let's say internal data, external data, you want to look for the customer insights, you want to look for the customer preferences, because that is the only thing that is going to help you out, that which product will be actually be that product will be doing well in the market over there. So you can be tailoring the things based upon that, based upon the customer preferences over there, and further you can be making efforts related to same and can be improving the customer experiences, right? So that's related to customer behavior insights. So first of all it's related to data collection and integration, second related to accurate information, third one it's related to the customer behavior insights, and the fourth one it's related to the market and competitor monitoring. Now let's say case that you have launched the product, you want to keep a trend, basically track on the market trend, that what is the market trend over there, what are the different competitor activities which are being performed over there, what are the different opportunities, what are the different threats which are available to you in the marketplace. So you'll be looking for the same, and further based upon the same you'll be developing a marketing strategy, and further you'll be developing a plan that will be driving the data which we have covered and the market analysis we have made, and ultimately you will be doing as per your strategy, as per your plan, right? So what is the objective? Objective is first of all collect the data, process the data, integrate the data, get the customer insights, get the market insights, and do monitor the your competitors and the market, look at the opportunities and threats which are available, and make a strategy and plan based upon the same. That's actually the objective of MKIS, right? And other than that, it's related to when you have made your plan. Planning means nothing, and further if you're exhaustive, that you're exhaustive of planning, that you're just planned and planned and planned and you never did something, okay, that will be of no use. So after planning you must be using the proper marketing mix. You must be using the proper marketing mix, that what product at what price at what place must be available. The 7 P's we basically talked about in the last videos, right? So that must be taken care of, right? And further enhancing the CRM. Now based upon that, we basically need to enhance our customer relationships, because we have already got the insights related to things. We have basically performed the things based upon that. We have created the product based upon that. Now it's the time that we basically will be catering the customers in a best manner, so that we can be delivering the personalized and the targeted interactions over there, right? Now that was actually related to the objectives of MKIS. Now after that, it's related to components of MKIS. Now components of MKIS, first of all it's related to internal marketing information. internal marketing information. Now internal marketing information that is actually available internally from your organization, from the internal sources, like you're having the inventory data, you're having the sales data, you're having the sales record, you're having the customer database. That's related to internal information. And further it's related to marketing intelligence system. Now marketing intelligence system is basically the data which is available externally. Let's say case the data which is available in public domain through the newspaper, magazines, television, radio, trade journals. That's actually the market intelligence system. You are basically looking at the market information from the outside. That's the market information, intelligence information or intelligence system over there, right? Further it's related to marketing research system. It's basically marketing research system. Research means that you are performing functions. You are basically performing functions. First of all, the first two things were related to basically getting the data. It was related to getting the data. In first step, you are getting the data. In second step, you're getting the data. Now you're going to analyze this particular data that you have gathered, and you will be looking for the patterns. You will be looking for the customer behavior, preferences, consumer wants, and for the desires related to the channels of distributions which you can be working well. What is the competition? So it is basically related to market analysis we are talking about. So it's a marketing research system. You're doing the research in the system over there, right? So that those 3 points are there. First point is related to internal, second point it's related to external, that is the intelligence system. Third one it's related to market research system. Three points over there. And fourth component it's related to marketing management and science system. Marketing management and science system. Now basically when you have got the point related to preferences and all the things over there, you have already the insights related to the market over there, right? Now this component is going to leverage, because you are going to use the analytical tools, you're going to use the different models and the techniques so as to process and interpret from the market data. Now you will be interpreting. This part is related to interpreting from the market data, that is related to data science, or particularly we can say management and science system over there. That is the main purpose of this particular part over there, right? And further it will be, that is why this tool is said to be what? That is why it is said to be the data driven decision making. Data driven decision making, because it is enhancing the overall marketing mechanism. Okay, overall marketing performance is enhanced due to this. Okay, so these are the 4 components. One is related to the internal marketing information. Second one, that is external, that is a market intelligence system. Third one, it's related to gathering and further getting the preferences, that's the research system, marketing research system. And the fourth one, management and science system, right? Now let's understand the MKIS model. Now MKIS model of McLeod and Roger, proposed by the Douglas McLeod and Everett Roger. So now MKIS model of whom? McLeod and Roger. Now Douglas McLeod and further Everett Roger gave the model, that is a MKIS model. Now this model was basically a conceptual framework. This was conceptual framework which basically outlines the important component, essential components and processes over there, so that we can be having a comprehensive marketing information system. So it was given by Douglas McLeod and further Everett Roger, and it basically gives us a framework which will be giving us a comprehensive MKIS, right? Now what were the components of this particular MKIS model which was given by the Douglas and particular Roger over there? That was particularly having the 2 systems. One, it was related to input subsystem. Now input subsystem is basically gathering the data from the various sources and putting it to the information system. So it's basically input subsystem. Now when we are talking about the input subsystem, it is actually gathering the data from the various sources, let's say internal sources or external sources, okay, and further is putting it into the system over there. That's the vendor related to it. And further output subsystem is actually related to what? That whatsoever the data, whatsoever the information is actually collected from the input subsystem, that will be basically be used as to produce the various insights, so as to basically produce a marketing management information over there. And further through this particular output subsystem, the marketing managers can be making their decisions, because they will be having the decision making information with them. Based upon that, which can be, they can be making the decisions, like they want to basically make a decision based upon for the promotion purposes, for distribution purposes, packaging purposes. They can be basically be doing what? They can be making decisions based upon the same, right? That was a model which was given by Douglas and Roger over there. And after that, it's related to supports for marketing management. Supports for marketing management. Now regarding the marketing functions, if we talk about the marketing functions, these are the 2 areas. Which 2 areas? Planning and controlling. If we talk about the MKIS, kindly please note it down. If we talk about the MKIS, P and C. P is for planning and C is for controlling. C is for controlling. These are the 2 main areas which basically are receiving the most support from MKIS. So MKIS is mostly supporting these 2 areas of management over there. right? So sequence is actually related to what? That you plan, you direct, you basically organize, you staff and control. That is particularly PDOSC. That is particularly PDOSC. Now P is for planning, directing, organizing, staffing, controlling. Okay, sequence is this one, right? And further, the two areas which are basically having extra support from MKS, those are planning and controlling, right? And further, on the positive side, if we look at the thing, that basically MK is basically attracting more and more marketing managers so as to use a system of planning, because they are using the planning thing a lot. When they are planning the things, they actually use the MKS a lot. Okay, but if we look at the negative side, if the marketing managers are just use it for planning purposes and they are not basically use the implementations or controls over there, then in that scenario MKIS is of no use. MKS is of no use in that scenario. Okay, and further it's related to recommendations for the same. So internal accounting continues to be the most important source. As I told you that you use both the sources, you go for the internal sources and you go for the external sources for gathering the data. Now in that scenario, the internal accounting, that's related to the cost to you, that's related to what are the different profit aspects or something. So that particular information is the most important information, right? And further, most companies collect the data about their customers, about the competitors, about the different prospective customers who are basically popular, right? So these are basically used, and particularly this is the main data which is used, right? And for the major users of the MKS are whom? Major users are middle level managers. So if we talk about the users of MKS, the middle level managers are the major users of MKS. These are the major users of MKS, right? And for the price and product decisions consume most of the MKS resources. So this type of questions can be asked related to what particular P's do consume the most of the resources, price and product do consume the most of the resources of MKS. Okay, and for the management uses particularly what kind of MKS is the most, in what processes? P and C, that is planning and controlling. And further, if we talk about which P's do you consume the resources of MKS the most, price and product do use the most of it. And further, let's have a look at the advantages of MKS. Let's have a look at the advantages of MKS. Now, when you're having the information available to you related to your product, related to your market, related to trends, related to competitors, definitely it's very much easier for you so as to take a decision, so as to make a decision, right? So it's actually related to, it provides you with the set of procedures, method related to that how you can be collecting data and how you can analyze that particular data, how you can store the data and how you can disseminate that particular information, right? So that is the first advantage. And also it helps you so as to improve the data capture process, that you can be relying on that particular data, and what is the consistency in data, what is the quality of data, it also helps you in that, right? And further, when we are talking about the operation of collecting, processing and transmitting data, in that scenario decision making person will be having the data readily available with the person so that they can be having a smooth decision on the same. And further, it provides a tailor-made information for specific needs. It's not the case that it's given you all the information only for specific purposes. By the use of user interfaces, we can be making it very much specific so as to get the specific data for the specific purposes only, right? And it facilitates the repetitive usage of data can be there. Same information can be used for multiple times for multiple purposes over there, for the different purposes over there. And further, if there is any conflicting information which will otherwise lead to confusion or something misdirecting us, we can be omitting the same, we can be sorting it out, and integration from the various resources of data, right? Basically you're having the internal data, external data, you can be integrating the data over there. It can create the customer insight, that what are the different preferences of the customers over there related to the product, related to pricing. It can give you valuable insights related to it. And further, it will be serving as total knowledge management mechanism. It will be serving as a total management knowledge management mechanism over there. It supports the knowledge, it basically gathers the knowledge, it gives the insights, and further you get decision making information from the same. So it basically ensures also that this particular information is readily available and in the usable form, right? So these are the advantages. In the broad manner, if we look for the advantages of MKS, it's not just related to you are gathering the information, you're gathering the information from the different data, you're processing the data, you're going to basically use that particular data, and further you can store that particular data after processing, analyzing, and further the data will be available for retrieval or for different purposes, and the particular information can be used at the different levels for the different purposes over there, and particularly it facilitates multiple usage over there. And further, if there is any unrelevant information, you can can sort it out. So these are the various advantages of MKIS. Now if we look at the usage of computers in MKIS, where the usage is done, when you're collecting the data, there is usage of computers. When you're basically doing the research, you're analyzing the data, you're processing the data, there is usage of particular computers over there. And further, if you even look for the CRM, because I already told you that the MKIS also give you the consumer insights. It also give you the consumer insights related to the preferences and all the things. Those are also given to you. So that is also a good point. That is also a good point, but it also definitely uses the consumer and all. And also the computers are central to the digital marketing efforts over there, because when you're having the different insights, when you have the different data, and let's say you want to promote a product, you want to advertise a product, now in that scenario you'll be using the computers, because computers are the central digital marketing efforts over there. If you want to do the online advertising, email marketing, social media marketing, content creation, SEO, that heavily relies on computer and the various digital tools over there. And as I told you, even if you want to do the market analysis over there, for that particular purpose also, you'll be looking for the KPIs, that is a key performance indicators or data driven decisions over there. So in that scenario also, you'll be having a huge amount of data, huge data sets of the amounts over there, which are to be analyzed. So in that scenario also, the computers will be used. So whether we are talking about data collection, whether we are talking about market research, market analytics, whether you're talking about the customer relationship management or digital marketing or marketing automation, we have been using the computers and all the things over there, right? So that was all about this particular video. I hope that you must have enjoyed the content of this particular video. So do rate the video at the earliest. And further, now you can also be referring your banker friends who have been there with your in your bank or your different branches over there. You can be referring them. So if they sign up, you'll be getting ₹20, and further, if they do purchase any of the content, you'll be getting 25% maximum up to 500 rupees over there. So you can be submitting or their numbers. Particularly, you need to visit our website for that. The link is available in the description. That is jairb.learningsessions.in, and from there you go to after sign up, you just need to navigate to the particular referral portal, and you can be simply be submitting their numbers there, or you can be referring through the link also. So just do refer them, and that's your job. And after that, our marketing team will be handling all the things over there, and that will be all. Thank you so much, and see you again in the next video.